Alright guys, I have some sad news to tell you. One of the members from America, not to be confused with America, which is a continent in North America, one of the longtime drummers, Willie Leacox, has died at just 74 years old. As you may know about this, he's actually the drummer, and he was actually the longtime drummer for America. So what was the cause of death? It was no cause of death actually. He just died recently. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that he passed away at his home in Stockton, California. But there's no cause of death to be confirmed. So actually, there's actually like no information about Willie Leacox, the drummer from America. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that it was right here saying that the former touring musician was actually Willie Leacox, who actually started to form the band America, and he started to play the drums from 1973 to 2014. He just played for at least like 40. He played the drums for at least 43 years actually. So eventually he was the former drummer for 49 years. So eventually it was sad that Willie Leacox was actually the former drummer, it's like sad. So eventually there was actually one member who was a former bandmate from the band America, Dan Peek. So Dan Peek actually died in 2011. So eventually what I was gonna say is that he did die at the age of 60. So if you do see the video, which is the 70s musicians, you can find out more about him. So eventually guys, there's not much information to see and to read about Willie Leacox because he's the drummer. He was a long time drummer. It was like really sad to lose the drummer. I think he was fired, if I'm not mistaken, but he wasn't. He isn't. So I'm just gonna read this one to you guys. I think this is from the news. So eventually, the former drummer of the rock band America recently passed away at 74 years old. The cause of death is yet to be revealed. So what I was gonna say is that Willie did play the drums, and he was actually the former tour member of America. So eventually what I was gonna say is that it is really sad to lose a band member this year. Because of this, I would just say that my dad has heard of that band before, America. So eventually Willie Leacox was actually the member for the band. So eventually I didn't read this through. So eventually guys, there's also another page that I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm really going to read it, okay? So eventually he joined the band in 1973 and remained it as a member for 4 decades straight. So eventually he was a drummer for 41 years because he stopped his drumming in 2014. So eventually what I was going to say is that he was described as the drummer for America. So eventually we've lost 2 drummers last year and this year, Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones and Willie Leacox from America. So eventually what I was gonna say is that it's really sad to lose the drummer like that, because both of them are great drummers, and you know what comes to my mind? They just play great songs. So eventually guys, what I was gonna say is that both Charlie Watts and Willie Leacox actually did play the drums, and both of them just make great music, like that. It was really sad to also lose Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones since last year. So eventually guys, We don't know who's actually going to be the former touring musician. We don't know who's going to be the touring musicians who's actually going to replace Willie. Unfortunately for that, we don't know. But I think as the beat goes on, there was actually somehow going to be another band member who's going to be touring on the band America. So eventually what I was going to say is that this band has been right here since 1970, and I do believe the past member was actually Dan Peake. So what I was going to say is it's really sad to lose like a former touring musician. So eventually what I was going to say is that the one who was actually touring with the band America was actually Ryland Steed. After Willie Leacox retirement from the band America, I don't know what he did. There's not much information I can really say. I tried searching that one up, but unfortunately what I was going to say is that there's not much information I can really say about Willie Leacox, like that. So eventually guys, I don't have anything to say, and this is me signing off.